Whitlock, Father Becker, Reverend Fathers, and my brothers. Before I start my vocation story, there are 3 people I would like to thank who hopefully will watch this video. First is Father Gembrowski, who was my pastor for about 8 years at St. Joseph Parish in Carlton, where I grew up. Father Ron, I really attribute to him the seeds of my vocation, just for his fatherly care for the parish and the care that he showed me growing up. Second, St. Joseph Parish merged with 2 other parishes to become St. John Paul II Parish. And now we have Father Jim Bessert as our sacramental minister. And ever since entering seminary, Father Jim has really taken me under his wing and showed me, the inner workings of the diocese and helped me to become, I believe, much more humble, especially back home. And third is the pastoral administrator at St. John Paul II Parish, Sister Christine Gretka, who is a member of the congregation of the Sisters of St. Joseph. And constantly when I'm back home, she shows me affection and care and support in my vocation. So you 3, thank you very much for your support for me, and I appreciate you all. My journey, I feel, can be likened to a passage from Scripture, from the book of Kings, the first one. It's when Elijah is at the broom tree, and then he's walking to the mountain. And he's up in the mountain, and the Lord is about to pass by. And so there's this huge fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And then there's this massive earthquake, and the Lord was not in the earthquake. And then there's this giant wind, and the Lord was not in the wind either. But then the New American Bible says that there was a light, silent sound. And I really identify with that when I've been praying about my vocation story. And I've always felt that that light, silent sound has been guiding me to seminary, and I believe towards the priesthood. I grew up as the youngest of 8 in a practicing Catholic family. We went to Mass every Sunday, regular confession. Every Sunday afternoon, our dad would break out the workbooks and have us do religion homework, which I always actually enjoyed. I was always interested in the faith as a kid, but I never really thought about being a priest. I was pretty content not to think any deep thoughts and just to be a kid. So like my most important task in 7th grade was making the girls in class laugh. Like, simple life, I really enjoyed it. But let's say around 7th grade, you could start thinking what you want to do when you grow up. And so I was just thinking of ideas. I could be a policeman, but I don't want to die and get shot. I could be a brain surgeon, but I don't want to go to school for the rest of my life. Or I could be a priest. And I just moved past that, similarly like I moved past all the other ones. But something there, that light, silent sound attracted me. And that small attraction grew, especially as I moved into high school and here to seminary. So it grew, but going into high school, so as that grew, so did my desire for truth. I always was interested in why we believe what we believe. To me, growing up, especially when I hit high school, it just seemed to believe a bunch of fairy tales, that this man came down from heaven, that he died, and somehow I'm magically forgiven for all the bad things I've done. And I really wanted to know why we believe what we believe. So I read about the faith so much, not crazy, because I'm not crazy, but I read about it a lot. And I was always drawn to it because the Catholic faith always satisfied my longings for truth. I always found answers that satisfied me, and that really attracted me. However, I'm sad to admit that in high school I was pretty shallow and insecure. I did not want to be known as the weird kid. That was like my #1 goal. I know. And my thought of all religious people was pretty weird. So, as insecure and shallow as that is, that was my thought. So I really disliked youth group. I think it went 3 times, and I begged my parents never to send me again. I really didn't want to be involved with anything to do with the church. And I was in a Catholic school. So I'm still ashamed of that. But growing stronger in my faith as I did throughout the high school, I began to pray more. I began to go to confession more as I had it offered at my school. And that desire grew. But also another desire was there, which was to get married. Some guys come up here and say, I went to high school and then I discovered girls. And I'm like, I always knew they existed. Like, I never understood that one. So obviously, I really wanted to get married. I believe that was a selfish desire, but there was that small silent sound that was pulling me towards seminary and towards the priesthood. I even remember on my first visit here, I thought, oh, these guys are going to be pretty weird. And then I got here, and I'm really just happy to say that I've gotten past it, and I'm no longer fazed by your weirdness. But coming here, I really did not like my visit. I never wanted to come back. But when it came down, when it came down to it, and I had the application in my hands, I had to make a decision whether I was going to be selfish with my life or whether I was going to live my life as a gift for others. And I had to give God the chance to show me what He wanted to show me in my life. So I applied and I came to seminary. And honestly, when I got here, I thought, I'll be here for a year and a half max, and then I'll be out of here. So I'd like to remind the formators that I have far exceeded expectations. That's you, Father Barolo. But honestly, as I look back over my whole life and I see all the things God has done for me, I'm overwhelmed by the goodness of God and how much God has loved me and given me everything I need to follow His will in my life. I come from a great family who I love very dearly. I love all my siblings. I think they're the best, and I know they love me. I live in the best country in the world. I possess the fullness of truth in my faith, and I truly believe that. I've been given everything I need to be holy and follow God's will in my life. And more importantly, I am from a diocese that far exceeds all of yours combined. It's really the best place on earth. When I'm thinking of all these things, though, and I'm really just overwhelmed with God's goodness, I think back to Psalm 136, which says, "My soul, give praise to the Lord, for His love endures forever." And I find that so true. Praise be Jesus Christ.
Now and forever.